Hi, welcome to Family Law Friday, presented by Florida Women's Law Group. My name is Betsy Corbett, and I'm in the marketing department. Family Law Friday is designed to be a resource for all women with a family law issue. Today, we will be discussing how infidelity affects your divorce or impacts your divorce. Before we get started, I wanted to give you some information about our host, Heather Quick. Heather is the founder and owner of Florida Women's Law Group that advocates for women in North Florida. The firm educates and empowers women on the law so that they can find the strength to endure the process and end up better both financially and emotionally. She's been a licensed Florida attorney for the last 20 years, with most of her practice being in family law. Please join me in welcoming Heather Quick to Family Law Friday.
Thank you so much, Betsy. So today we're continuing the discussion of infidelity in a marriage, how that plays out in divorce court. And if you've been watching any of our videos and read any of our materials in the past, you're going to know it usually really doesn't have a whole lot of a part in the divorce. But I want to talk about why and some areas where it might play in and how to understand that. Because you know, when you're going through a divorce, it is extremely emotional and a difficult time. And for women, it's very difficult to separate the bad acts of your husband from what we're deciding now. And I understand that. And, you know, many times you will get caught up in the why and how and what he did. I'm here to tell you that is not going to be productive, because when you're in the process and in a divorce, it's time to move forward and it's time to look forward, because you don't want to spend your life looking back at what he did, what could have been. Blaming others also makes you a victim. You have control over that. And also, you know, I know you've watched our videos before, and hey, we are on your side. We're here to help you. But sometimes I can seem a little bit harsh on the victim role, because I know you're better than that. And I also know that that doesn't get you the success that you really desire and deserve. And you know, how we move you from this in this particular situation of the divorce. So let's talk about the infidelity. I have heard more than once, well, I want the judge to know what he did. Ladies, they're not going to know, and it doesn't matter. And you need to just accept it, period. Those words are totally emotional, and in believing that if a judge hears what he does, somehow he's not going to follow the law. It doesn't work that way. And the sooner that you begin to know it, accept it, and understand, the better you will be. And also, hey, a wise attorney, I remember, told me years and years ago, when I really first started in family law, it takes two to make it, and it takes two to break it. And again, I'm on your side, whether you're, no matter what your part in it was, but beginning to take responsibility for your part in your marriage, and then your part in the divorce, and your responsibility for your future, is what I believe is going to make you stronger, and what I believe we can help you do, and it's going to help you be the best you that you can be. So now that we're kind of through that, because those are things that, and I know I will still continue to hear that when we meet with clients, but you may hear that back from us, because we're trying to help you move through that and focus on the things that are going to help get you into the best situation possible for this divorce. When does the infidelity become relevant and going to be something that's going to be discussed in the court? Well, it is if a lot of marital money has been used for the relationship. And that, may seem like, well, they went on a trip, they had flowers, they did this, they went out to dinner. If it's under $5,000, Is it worth it? I don't know. It just depends. It depends where we are on the stage. In the very, very beginning, and we're dealing with maybe some temporary alimony and spousal support issues, and he went off and took a trip, it shows that he had the money to do so, and he has the money to support you. In the grand scheme of the overall divorce, no. Now, if what comes to my mind, and that's just because I read all of the Godfather books, watched the movies. In my mind, those are like these old movies where they all had a mistress set up in a condo. They're lots, thousands and thousands of dollars to support basically a whole nother life. That's relevant. That is a lot of marital money that is being used, not for marital purpose. I haven't seen that as often in the divorces that we deal with, but we certainly have. And when it is that type of situation where we can really see the money flowing to that, then that's relevant to the court to say he owes you that back. Half of that money that he spent was all yours. So how do we recoup that? So that's where it makes sense, is relevant potentially to the divorce case that we're dealing with. And if it's not a divorce case, then it's not going to be relevant because we're not dealing with equitable distribution. And so that's how it ties in on the money side. Sometimes, and I'm gonna, because we're talking financials briefly, I want to touch on the issue that I've heard more than once as well. He's having a relationship at work. And I know that if they find out, he's going to get fired. And that's really what you want to do. That will potentially really not be good for you, because if we are in a situation where there is financial support to be paid, that's not really going to help you. Or received. What if you're the one who makes the money? He's got a good job. He cheated, but now he wants alimony. Happens. And women, it happens too. You can cheat and still ask for alimony. That is irrelevant to the issue of spousal support. So if you're thinking, I want to get him fired, I will caution you against that because of the way it affects you. I'm not worried about him, but I'm worried about how that affects you. What if that puts you at more exposure to potentially pay him out? Or what if that reduces his ability to pay you? That doesn't make any sense. Why would you do something that would hurt yourself eventually, ultimately? That one revenge, that pound of flesh, it's meaningless. It doesn't feel as good as you think, particularly when their money's not there. So think that through. Military as well. I've heard it multiple times, and I caution you. I caution you from doing something like that ultimately hurts you worse than it hurts him. So, and it's a very spiteful thing to do. And that kind of energy is going to come back on you. And it's not productive. We're talking about your future, not revenge and, blaming someone else. Let's talk about kids, because that is another issue that, he's been with this woman. How does that affect our children? I don't want this woman around me. Yeah, and yes, I've heard that. And hey, I'm with you. I would feel exactly the same way. So generally, we can, during the while the divorce is happening, we can, seek that from the court. Say, hey, don't introduce anyone to the children. It does depend on the age of the children, their psychological development, and emotional state. That is something we can usually seek an order for. Can we enforce it? Kind of difficult, but sometimes we incorporate some counseling, family counseling, and that's where there's more of a monitoring of that. So that's a big deal, and I definitely agree with you that if your spouse has been cheating and you're like, oh, he's moving in with her and wants the kids over there, that's not going to be good for them. But we need to get involved in some counseling right away for the kids and the counselor to be able to judge how they're doing. Because I know how it would feel for me. I know how you're going to feel about it, but it's got to come from the perspective of what's best for the kids. And that is something that usually we can do during the pendency of the divorce. Now, can we, get some agreement maybe after the divorce, but it's going to be very difficult to get something like that from the court. In essence, once they're divorced, it's going to be like, he's free to do that. But a lot of different things we can negotiate. And many times, sometimes the older the kids are, the harder it is for them. And the more important it is to avoid bringing a new relationship in front of them. We can get that opinion from counselors and family counseling. And family counseling doesn't always mean you all have to be together, but they meet with the kids and one parent, kids another parent, parents individually. It's just a very comprehensive approach to really helping the children and the parents move through this difficult time. So that's one way it comes into play. Another thing that does come in is how we deal with relationships in the children. When, let's say, it's not like a normal person, you're like, I question who this person is. They look pretty trashy, like they have a record. Are they dangerous? I've seen a couple issues where the husband, or soon-to-be ex, divorcee, is involved in a relationship with a woman, and she's got a violent either ex-husband, ex-boyfriend, and then that's really relevant if there are true safety issues going on. That we've certainly seen those, or she's somebody that your children just shouldn't be around because of potentially criminal activity. That's the level it's going to need to be at. Or maybe if she has some unsavory occupation, but you got to understand how much does that intersect with the kids? How much do they know? Again, that's where having a counselor could be so very helpful, because the children are talking with them and they're telling them. Because you don't want to pump your kids for information on what they're seeing at dad's and who he's bringing around. That's not going to be good for your relationship with your children. So it's a fine line, but that's why you certainly can come talk to us and allow us to really explore that with you and help you see what can we work through. What are issues that we can help you deal with the children and your ex, your husband, and what are issues that maybe we can't really address in the legal system, but if we get you in the appropriate counseling environment, there may be a way that the kids are going to be better off, and the relief you're seeking or the behavior you're seeking, we have the right people influencing that. At the end of the day, that's what it is. When you're going through a divorce, you can know, not that you can ever control your husband's behavior. You want to control the situation that your kids are in, and that's going to be hard. You're going to lose a lot of that, and that I know is difficult for many women. And what I do know at the end of the day, that when if your husband does those kinds of things, and your children, they're very smart, they're very perceptive, they understand. They may really enjoy this new person because their dad is taking them out with her and going out to dinner, and a lot of times that accompanies gifts and presents and all fun time. It's hard to be the mom who has to sit and watch that happen and think, oh my God, now, they're starting this whole new life, and that's the woman he cheated on me with. It's going to be tough, but you can do it and you can grow through it. And I encourage you to get the help you need to do that, because you're the only one who can do that. And don't allow your husband, your ex-husband, to have that much power over you. And that's it really at the end of the day. Through the court system, there are some things we can do. And I'm all for that. And everyone in this office, our entire team, is going to be straight up with you and say, listen, this is painful. I know this is difficult. This is not something that you get to go tell the judge. You don't. They're not going to listen to that, because it doesn't help them decide an ultimate issue of the law based on the facts. But if it does, I promise you, and it will be to your advantage, we will use that. And but the best thing that we can do for you is to help you grieve the relationship, forgive, and move on and enjoy your new life. So if you or someone you know is in that situation and really struggling with how do we, maybe I mentioned some of the things that exist in your case and you want to know how do we make that happen, you reach out to us. Betsy's going to tell you how to reach out to us, and we'll help you figure it out, because that's why I started this law firm many years ago, for women just like you struggling with these issues and who really need somebody to tell it to you straight, who's on your side, and where you feel like, okay, they get me, they understand, but they're also going to advocate for me, fight for me, to help me be in the best situation. And that's what we do here at Florida Women's Law Group. So Betsy will let you know how to get in touch with us and follow up if you're in this situation.
Thank you, Heather, and to everyone that was able to join us today. If you are going through a divorce or thinking about divorce, you think your husband may be cheating, or have any other family law question, please give us a call at 904-241-0012, or look for us online at floridawomensLawGroup.com. Thank you.